Which villain do you feel sympathy for? Anytime a romantic comedy features the story of a guy or girl meeting someone who is already in a relationship, I always feel bad for their soon-to-be ex. Think Sweet Home Alabama. Even when the ex gets painted as a nagging woman, or a guy who works all the time, etc., I also hate the idea of there only being one right person for each of us being romanticized like that. I think love is just as much about making a choice as it is about the chemistry. Loki in the first Thor movie. He then turned into an anti-hero of sorts, not a villain, but he is certainly a villain in the first movie. Dude just wanted his father to love him as much as he loved Thor, then he finds out he was kidnapped from the Frost Giants and raised in a lie. The Grinch, specifically in How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Poor guy moved to the top of a mountain with his dog to get away from it, and a fucking Ryan Holmes Whoville development moves in and the poor Grinch can hear all that bullshit echoing in the valley. Plus the Who's are all about that holiday consumerism, which is kind of gross. Mr. Crocker, he's a mentally unstable man who lives with his mother and takes loans to build lairs underneath the school and is tormented by a kid who looks like a beaver, and the one thing he dedicates his life to do exists, but every time he is close to proving it he fails and looks more crazy, and the time he stopped believing in fairies after seeking help he had to be driven back into madness because he powers a large percentage of fairy world. Removed. Mr. Freeze. Magneto, Holocaust survivor turned super powerful mutant who is always trying to protect his people so they never have to go what he went through in the camps. Edit. Thanks for the gold, my fellow human. Baby doll from the old animated Batman series. She was stuck looking young forever and it broke her down. She actually cried in Batman's arms because of it. Dracula from the Netflix Castlevania series. Dude lost his wife to religious fanatics after he rediscovered his humanity and had to fight and nearly kill his son, the only thing in this world that Lisa left him to remember her by. I don't know about you, but that was pretty much what sold me on the Netflix series. Frankenstein's monster. The boyfriend Ken from the B-movie. Polyphemus from Greek mythology. Poor dude was just living a peaceful life tending to his sheep. Odysseus and his asshat friends barge in, kill some of his sheep, eat his food, and then hide in his home until he comes back. When confronted by Polyphemus, Odysseus has the fucking nerve to ask him for a welcoming gift in the name of Greek hospitality, Xenia. Then Polyphemus is painted as a villain for trying to kill these parasites that disrupted his lifestyle. Does Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street count? Asterisk bitch, he lives in a fucking trash can. He's typically seen as a villain due to Disney and Satan, but I'm sympathetic to Hades. In his original myths, the only bad thing he ever did was kidnap Persephone, and that was normal at the time. He even asked Zeus first. He treats Persephone kindly, and in most versions she falls in love with him in end. Outside of that myth, Hades mostly minds his own business and does his work. Edit. Wanted to add that I feel sympathy even in myths where Persephone does not love him back. There were many gods after her hand, and Hades was the nicest of them. If he hadn't taken her, I fear it's all too likely someone like Ares would take her and treat her much worse than Hades. Megamind, but I guess that's the point. Javert from Les Miserables. He's a police officer who isn't corrupt in any way, shape, or form. He is just so bent on justice that he leaves no room for mercy. He's entirely broken when mercy is shown to him that he commits suicide, as the worldview he's built for himself has been completely shattered, and he can't cope. Dr. Doom. Usually he's portrayed just as a classic villain. Someone that wants to take over the world, kill the heroes, etc. But the reason he wants to do it is what's kind of interesting. There was one comic where his kingdom of Latveria invades the kingdom of Wakanda. The Panther God gives him a test IIRC and he ends up passing the test because his reason for wanting to take over the earth is pure. He's been traveling through alternate timelines and in every single one except one, human is wiped out in the future. The only future where humanity survives is one that is brought to order under his rule. Kind of a personification of the question, do the ends justify the means? Edit. Thanks guys for these nifty medals. First time getting these. Edit to https://www.reddit.com/r/comic-comments/2k2a/doom_explains_his_vision_the/. Link to what I was thinking of. Also, I was wrong. He didn't actually go to these timelines, but I think he just looked into them, as some have kindly pointed out. The Ice King. Thomas from Tom and Jerry. He had to put up with that smart-ass mouse only because it was backed up by a massive dog with anger management issues. Magneto. When you think how hard his life has been. Edit. His theme song is probably the best theme song for any movie character I know. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Outstanding actor. Nobody else could have humanized the character like he did. Godzilla. He doesn't know it's wrong to stomp on buildings. He's just doing Godzilla things. Gollum. That is one messed up little hobbit. GLaDOS. She got turned to a potato sad face. Azula from Avatar, The Last Airbender. She was brought up to be her father's tool in the war, and in the end, that broke her. Tom, because Jerry is an asshole. Robbie Rodden. Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxies. She was literally abused by Thanos, and I don't know why, but I want to be her friend. She seems so depressed and I want to cheer her up. Dr. Horrible from Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog. Sharpay Evans from High School Musical. Sure, she was a bit of a bitch, but she had reasons to be. 1. Troy and Gabriella were late to the first audition, hardly prepared, and still got a callback, unlike Sharpay, who had been responsible, worked hard, and been on time. 2. In the second movie, Troy is an absolute dick to her. She offers him connections and tries to get him a better future on the simple conditions that he hangs out with her and sings with her. 3. She works hard for everything, and while she can come off as rude, she always comes around in the end to be a good person. She knows what she wants, and she isn't afraid to do what it takes to get it. There's a bunch of other stuff too. With that, I conclude my essay. Edit. I admit it, the film theory video inspired me to think of Sharpay grinning face with smiling eyes. Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture from Spider-Man: Homecoming. He starts off as a small business owner cleaning up the mess that the Avengers left after the destruction of New York, and then loses that job because the man who was partly responsible for the mess in the first place steals the job right from under him. And instead of turning to revenge and becoming some kind of anarchist, he becomes a weapons dealer to pay his mortgage and take care of his employees. In fact, his whole motivation is to provide for his wife and daughter. Dr. Evil, Team Rocket, Jesse and James.